Hello affiliates, this is Gary Calhoun and this is Friday after Thanksgiving. And I hope you had a wonderful day yesterday, spent it with your family, friends, or however you chose to spend it. I certainly did myself, and as you know, the office is closed today, but I wanted to come down and cut this short video because we have some information that is extremely important that we want to get to you as soon as possible, and it has to do with enhancing our compensation. We're going to call this Wave 2. Wave 1 can be considered what we've done up to date, I guess, and it has been nothing short of spectacular. In anybody's standards, it has been incredible. But we're finding that there's an area or two that we think we can make some massive improvements on. So I want to explain this to you. When we first introduced the 2x2 cycler, and we love that cycler, okay? We love the 2x2. We felt like that it has some tremendous characteristics. It is a very unique concept when a person can come into a business like ours, into a network opportunity, and within just a matter of a few hours or a day or so or whatever, can earn more than they have spent and be in a positive cash flow. And I love that part about it. As a matter of fact, that's the characteristics to it. You know, number one, it can produce a powerfully quick income. Number two, it's easy to reach the initial cycle. And number three, it can create a positive cash flow. Now, all of those are very positive things with it. There's one disadvantage to it. It's hard to continue cycling. Now, some of you may have already started experiencing this, but we've been monitoring this for quite some time. When we first initially introduced this, we really felt like that was the only comp plan needed. I mean, when you really look at the way that it is to work and the way it works on paper, then it will continue to cycle, and as you build your organization larger, the more you cycle. We found out that's not necessarily the case. It really created a need for phase 2, which was just used off of some breakage money that we had. But unfortunately, with the phase 1 bonuses that we're paying out, there's not an adequate amount available to compensate people in the early stages for helping their team. And here's where we see there's a real problem. Because here's what happens. A person cycles, and you start having people peppered throughout your organization that really need your help. Well, for you to help them, you know, you really need to get paid for it. If you put your time into it, you need to be able to take your dollars out of it. Your team will start growing deep faster than it'll grow wide. And you'll start having people down and below you there that need help. As you start trying to help them, you realize, well, I'm not going to get paid on helping them until I get 5 cycles. When you do get your 5, then you end up where you have a $20 override. And it's really a situation where you can't afford to do very much at that particular level. What we find is that's just not adequate. You need to be paid more. I really think we need a paradigm shift in our thinking. I really feel like that we should maximize the advantages of our 2x2 matrix. But I also think we should minimize the disadvantages. Instead of us thinking of the 2x2 as the powerful ongoing compensation, let's think of it as the initial position to get a quick positive cash flow, because that's what it does. Let's start thinking of the infinity coding bonuses as being the major income provider. So with that, here's what I propose to you. Let's take $200 from phase 1 and move it over into phase 2. Now, our offer would still be fantastic. Compare it to anything in the industry, and you'll find out how fantastic that really is. Let's, number one, pay a $50 retail sales bonus on each of your initial personal sales. You got to have 2 sales to qualify for commission. So basically, that'd be 100 of it that you'd get back. So instead of getting 500 commission on a per cycle, you get 300. But when you make your 2 sales, then it puts you back to, say, at that point, 400. Now, if you made all the sales, then you're going to end up with 600. So, you know, you could make a lot more than just the 500. The second thing, let's create a new position in the infinity coding bonuses called a bronze. It'll be down below silver, a starting entry where a person can very easily get into an override situation to be able to help their organization. And let's increase the amount of the infinity bonuses, and I'll explain that in just a minute, but we're increasing them drastically. And then let's pay these infinity coding bonuses, instead of monthly, let's pay them weekly. The bronze position would pay an $80 override. And the way you get there is by personally cycling 2 times. And when you do that, you've now qualified to get an $80 override on anybody else in your organization that cycles until they reach bronze as well. When you have one of your people reach bronze, you would then move from 80 to 100. On anybody that cycles outside of them that's not in their leg, you'd get 100. Anybody that cycles in their leg, you'll get the difference, which would be 20, and they'll get the 80. But on your other people that you have that you're working with, you're going to get $100 per cycle on anybody on their team at that point until they hit bronze. That's called a pearl. And then we would move to silver, which silver would be the 5 cycles it is now, or there's other ways to get there as well. Then it would go from silver would be 120. Now that means that you're getting the difference on those. And then you go to ruby at 140, gold would be 160, platinum would be 180, and diamond would be 200. Now diamond is where the platinum is now. We just added a couple of more positions through there. But here's an example. You're at gold and you're at 160. Now to compare that, you're now at $20 override. If you're at gold, you could be 160. If you have an affiliate that's bronze, for example, at 80, and there's nobody in between you that's ranked, then you're getting the difference of the $80 on this. As a comparison, you have bronze right now is getting nothing. Well, now they would get $80. On a silver, you're getting 20 now. Well, in the proposed program, you'd get 20 to 120, because if you were silver, and that pays 120, so you're going to have some people that's going to be directly to you that are maybe pearl, so you'd get $20 override on them. You're going to have some maybe that's direct to you that's bronze, you get 40 on them. And then you're going to have some that's not ranked yet. You're going to get 120 on them per cycle. And it works that same way all the way up. Gold right now is 20 to 40 bucks. In our proposed program, it'll be 20 to 160. Diamond would be from 20 to 200. As your organization is growing, you're going to have a large number of people that are at these different levels. So you're going to have some that are directly to you that are bronze. You're going to have some directly as a silver. You're going to have some directly as a gold, some directly as a platinum or whatever. And the difference in these overrides, and some of you have probably been in programs where they've had infinity coding bonuses in the past, and it is amazing at the kind of income that can be produced from this. This will be something that will be a lot more appropriate, because what is happening now is you have people that come into our program, they see how enticing it is, and they come in and they jump in and they are pretty quick to cycle, and then they need help, or they even need help to cycle. And our leaders have got to make money. And I'm not talking about the big leaders now. We took this money and placed it in these lower levels where you that are just getting started can continue to make income. We don't want you just to come in and do a $500 and then it's just be a one-shot wonder. We want you to continue growing and building your business. And what's happening, and I guarantee if you go back and look in your organization, you'll see this, and some of you know this, even if you cycled a few times, that what happens is your organization starts running deep and you're not adequately being compensated on it, and you can't really effectively get to those levels as fast as you need to. So you're having a dip in your income, and we don't want that to happen to anybody. We put some matching check bonuses at the top that once you do reach the top and you're a diamond, then we have 4 generations of matching checks. The first one is 15%, so any of your personal people or your first generation, they don't have to be personally sponsored by you, but if any of your first generation people that are diamonds, then you get a 15% matching check bonus on those. Now that's in addition to your infinity coding bonuses. And your second generation pays 10%, third generation pays 10%, and fourth generation pays 5%. We've added about 3 things here. We've added a retail sales bonus, number 1, increased infinity bonuses, number 2, matching check bonuses, number 3, and proposing to pay all of the infinity bonuses weekly instead of monthly. Now we'd like to make the effective date of this as of December the 1st. So all new people joining from December the 1st on would be under the new program. Existing affiliates can elect to stay on the 500 through the next cycle, or they can change to the proposed plan. So in other words, if somebody's joined prior to December 1, if they want to go with a 500, they can go with a 500 on their cycle. But they get paid according to that. So they would get bonus program, infinity program paid the old way and paid on a monthly basis. If they elect to go to the new way, then they start getting the new way effective immediately. But now once they cycle, no matter what they're in right now, even if you've got somebody that's in their second or third cycle or whatever, once you cycle, then you'll be the new way. This is not something that was just quickly thrown together. This was something that we saw there was an issue, there was a problem. And many of you, if you'll go back through your downlines, you'll see this, where people that you may have had great people. They came and even cycled several times and then left and moved on because they just didn't see that they could continue to cycle. Well, they don't have to continue to cycle now. We see that that's an issue. This is a way to fix it. It's a way to make us have the best of all worlds. We'd have the 2x2 as an incredible way to create positive cash flow. Since we're just a one-time out of pocket, that keeps them in the cash flow from that point on. Second, it really does reward the people from day one when they start helping their team build, that it really rewards them appropriately for their efforts. And I think all the way around, I think it has to be a win-win-win situation. It has to be a win for the company, has to be a win for associates, has to be a win for leaders. This is. I think that you will find this to be very appealing in the marketplace. And also, now, I know we all love the $500. Believe me, I love the $500 too. But if we're just putting all of our money over there in that one thing and it's not accomplishing what we wanted it to, then the only alternative we had was to modify it to make it do what we wanted it to do. Because we have a big business to build, and we don't need people leaving because they can't make money. We need people making more money here than they can make anywhere else. And we want to keep everybody that comes.